Now let's move on to our offensive line that we're going with. And the two tackles that we have are Joe Alt from Notre Dame and Talisa Fuaga from Oregon State. Our two guards are Christian Haynes from UConn and Cooper Beebe from Kansas State, who we actually interviewed, so you can check out that interview if you want. And then the center we're going with is Jackson Powers Johnson from Oregon. So, Dalton, who are you highlighting out of the All-American offensive line that we have?
For as much as Alt and Beebe are the huge names there and likely first-round picks, I'm actually going to look at Powers Johnson. You've got a guy, he's the only center in the country with 80-plus grades in run blocking and pass protection, the only center in the top 10 in both, and he's only given up one pressure all season so far for an Oregon team that is by far leading the country, in pass protection grade. They, from wire to wire so far this year, are the best pass protecting unit. He's the best pass protecting center and the anchor. And I think the most impressive part to me is he played guard last year. Yeah. And he was the 12th best guard in the country last year playing right guard for the Ducks. The switch to center has been unbelievable. And what he's doing anchoring a unit, they have arguably the best offensive line in the country right now. And he's the best player in that unit. He's square. You're going to hear his name in award season. It's coming because he's one pressure through. I don't care who you're playing. I don't care level of competition, any of that stuff. One pressure in 6 games is nuts. Yeah, it's just I can't even explain how crazy that is in big time college football in the Pac-12. I mean, look, this week. This pass protection is good. And Washington is third in the country right now. You got two teams that can really pass protect. But Powers Johnson moving from guard to center and being the leader of that group and performing even better than he did at guard is just insane. And this is the unit that really is what makes Oregon dangerous. You saw the way they mauled Colorado. They're doing this to teams every single week. And really, for as much as James and Franklin and Nix and everybody else gets all the accolades, their offensive line is what makes them go, and it starts with Powers Johnson.
Absolutely, man. You mentioned he's the only center in the country who's top 10 in both pass blocking and run blocking grade. He's also in the top 5 for both of those. So it's pretty insane what he's doing. The guy I'm highlighting is another guy that we interviewed. So you can check out that interview if you want to. Guy who's probably going to be a top 10 pick, and I would argue should be a top 5 pick maybe in the NFL draft. Joe Alt, who has been, the last 2 years, he was the highest graded offensive tackle in the country last year. He's the highest graded offensive tackle in the country this year. You see right there, he's 9th in pass blocking grade. He's 6th in run blocking grade. He's the only tackle in the country who's top 10 for both. Now, I'm not going to pretend like I'm an NFL scout or as good of an NFL scout as Trevor Sikkema or Connor Rogers are, or a lot of other people that do this for a living. But I would argue, Dalton, I would take him probably over Olu Fashanu in terms of the NFL draft. We have an interview with Olu as well. He's a great kid, and he's a fantastic pass protector. But I think what Alt does, both as a pass blocker and run blocker the last 2 years, man, I would take him. I'd say he is OT1 in the NFL draft. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's a real debate. It's going to be a really fun debate. But when you've got the well-roundedness of Alt, and this isn't just, I mean, when you talk about Fashanu being a better pass protector, it's not by much. I mean, Fashanu is the best pass protector in the country, but Alt being, I want to say an 85 plus in both pass block and run block the well-roundedness is hard to ignore. Now, everybody always has a flavor, and you'll get to the combine and do all these things, but it's hard to think that if Alt is at least comparable as a pass blocker and he's much, much better as a run blocker, it's hard to think he wouldn't go before Fashanu. But again, that's kind of every scout, every GM has their flavor. If they want just the lockdown, lights out pass protector and we'll work on the run game later, that's cool too. I get it. But the fact that Alt is so good in every aspect, you can ask this guy to do anything. And it's really the thing that, you mentioned Estime before. Alt in front of him is the guy that makes this go up front for Notre Dame in both facets.
Yeah, not to take away from either of them, man. They're both going to be top 10 picks in the draft. Like, they're still fantastic players. But yeah, Joe Alt, man, he has been special so far this season.